young man named Abraham Greenbaum lost his entire family in the Holocaust. After the war, he comes to America, and he wanted nothing at all to do with Judaism. He was no longer Abraham Greenbaum. Now he was Aaron Green. He moved to Alabama. He happens to marry a Jewish woman there. The day his oldest son, Jeffrey, turns 13, they were not going to celebrate his bar mitzvah. Aaron decided to recognize the day by taking Jeffrey to the mall to buy him anything he wanted there. They went into a big electronics store, and while they were browsing, Jeffrey's eye caught something in an antique shop across the way. He was mesmerized by it. He couldn't take his eyes off of it. He told his father, "I don't want anything from the electronics store. I want to go across the road to the antique shop." When they got there, the boy pointed to an old wooden menorah and said, "This is what I want for my bar mitzvah." His father couldn't believe it. He was letting his child buy literally anything he wanted in the whole mall, and this is what he was choosing? Nevertheless, he couldn't talk his son out of it. Aaron asks the shop owner the price of the menorah, but the shop owner replied, "Sorry, the menorah is not for sale." The father says, "What do you mean? This is a store, isn't it?" He offers a lot of money for the menorah. But the owner says, "I found out the history of this menorah. You see, a man constructed it during the Holocaust, and it took him months to gather the wood. He risked his life to build this menorah. It survived, but he did not. It's a collector's item, and it's not for sale." Jeffrey kept telling his father, "This is the one I want. All I want is the menorah." So Aaron Green kept offering more money and more until the owner finally agrees to sell. The boy was so excited. He took the menorah home, he takes it up to his room, and he begins playing with it every day. One day the parents hear a crash from Jeffrey's room. They ran upstairs and they saw the menorah shattered to pieces. Jeffrey's father yells at him for being so careless. He paid so much for the menorah. "Why, Jeffrey, why?" But some time later, he felt bad. He goes to his son's room and he says, "Son, let's try to glue it back together." And while holding one of the pieces of the menorah, Aaron notices a piece of paper wedged inside. He pulls it out and he begins to read. Tears well up in his eyes, and overcome with emotion, he fainted. When he came to, his family asked him, "Aaron, what happened?" And he replies, "Let me read you this letter." It was written in Yiddish, and it said, and I quote, "To whoever finds this menorah, I want you to know, I constructed it not knowing if I would ever have the opportunity to light it. Who knows if I will live to see the day when it will be kindled? In all probability, going through this war, I will not. But if Providence brings this menorah to your hands, you who are reading this letter, promise me you will light it for me and for us, for my family, and for those who gave their lives for being Jewish." Aaron Green then looked up at his family with tears in his eyes, and he said in a choked up voice, "The letter is signed by my father." Friends, this story is a reminder of a powerful truth at the heart of Jewish history. Just as in the Hanukkah story, for a time it appeared that the last cruse of oil required to keep the light of the menorah alive was gone. There were so many times, places, and families in our history, like the Greenbaum family, for example, where the spark of Jewish life and continuity seemed to have been snuffed out forever due to the twin pressures of anti-Semitism and assimilation. And then suddenly and miraculously, that innate and unbreakable spark of Jewishness, compared by our sages to the single remaining cruse of oil whose sacred seal was never broken, is suddenly rediscovered, and the spiritual legacy of a family and a nation burns bold and bright again. Am Yisrael Chai. Chanukah Sameach.